Hey everybody, Bill, Felix and friends here. Fresh off of a great day at Lollapalooza, kind of relaxing after playing air guitar at Lollapalooza in the crowd as a spectator. And today I am about to do some recording. I got all my recording gear out behind me. About to do some recording. But what I want to talk about right now is the second part, kind of an update to my experiment with strings that I did some months ago. So a few months ago, I did a video on the Ernie Ball paradigm strings versus the D'darrio NYXL strings for electric guitar. So for my Strat and my Telecaster back there, I use 9s, so 9 to 42 gauge on both of them, and I put Ernie Ball paradigms on one, and I put um, the NYXLs on the other one, and then I left them for a month, and I played them, and I gave my impressions of them at the time. So that was my first time playing both of those sets of strings. I had never played the paradigms or the NYXLs before. So those strings, as all strings do, got old and crappy, and so I had to change them. And so now I've got a new set of strings on there, and this time I did things a little bit differently. Instead of immediately playing the guitars, what I did was I just sort of let them sit there. I let them sit on the wall as they were behind me. I maybe picked them up once or twice, but every time I touched them, I wiped them off. But I let them sit there for a month straight. So the Strat has a brand new set of paradigms on it, and the Telecaster has a brand new set of NYXLs on it. Both 9 to 42. They're both sets of 9, and these are my thoughts second time around on those two strings, the NYXLs versus the paradigms. So let's start out with the Strat here. Um, so in my second go around with the paradigms, which are the strings that are currently on the Strat, really not much has changed as far as getting them on the guitar itself. I mentioned before this guitar has locking tuners, so I go ahead lock the strings in place, tune it up to pitch, and start playing. Just like the first time, the Ernie balls took quite a bit of stretching. It took a bit for them to stretch out and kind of get stable. Um, and it's definitely not the guitar. There's nothing wrong with my nut or anything up at the headstock that's making my guitar go out of tune. It's definitely the strings themselves, and I know this because whenever I use regular like Ernie Ball slinkies or whatever, those things don't have to stretch nearly as much. So so that's definitely something that was the same. I had the same experience with the paradigms this time as I did the last time. Another thing that happened this time that also happened last time was that the strings, especially the high, D, G, and E strings here, these guys, they got out of tune. Not out of tune. Sorry, they got this sort of rusty, dingy film to them, and so you can see the light on them. My G string is pretty shiny still. And this, like I said, I have not played this guitar. I've let it sit here for a month. Both of these, I've let it sit here. I've only played my acoustic for this whole month, and so yeah. So I just let this guy sit here, made sure it was in tune. That was it. So right now the G string is still nice and shiny. Doesn't have any weird film or gunk on it, but just sitting here in an air-conditioned room, not too much humidity, not too little humidity. I mean, I take care of my guitars. I make sure that there's not so much humidity in the air that it's just gonna rust the strings just from the guitar sitting out. Um, but yeah, so just from sitting there, like I started to notice this a couple days in. After a couple days, the paradigms, these two strings especially, just had this sort of grime on them. this sort of, and you could feel it, right? When I was like actively playing them, I would feel it, but as I played, it would just rub off and it'd be no problem. This time I let it sit, and basically these two strings kind of, I wouldn't say rusted out, but they did kind of get a little bit corroded somehow. Yeah, they just kind of, stop being shiny. If you play guitar, you know what I'm talking about, how when your strings kind of start to go bad, they get that color to them. That's what happened with these guys. And they were supposed to be longer lasting. Um, Other than that, how do they sound? Well, after a month sitting here, they actually sound pretty good. Obviously, I haven't played them at all, or I've played them maybe a total of 10, 20 minutes total for a whole month. But they still sound really good. So as far as the sound, it doesn't affect the sound. It's just kind of like the way it feels has changed in a negative way. So that's kind of a mark against the Ernie Balls. And I have to say, I'm very pro Ernie Ball. I've been buying Ernie Ball 9s all my life. So I'm moving over to the NYXLs now, and that's what I put on a Telecaster. So you can see the Telecaster here doesn't really have that issue. You see that all the strings are pretty shiny. Even the high E, if you get it in the right light, is just fine. It doesn't have that weird film on it. That weird film that makes it, see, they're still shiny and silvery. And I actually played this the other night. I played it for a good hour. I was gonna make this video, but I ended up playing this instead. So these ones didn't corrode at all. They didn't get dull. The feel to them stayed the same. So in my first go around with these, I liked them, but I didn't like them enough to keep using them consistently all the time. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because I just really liked Ernie Balls. I was really expecting the Ernie Balls to be better. Who knows? But I can say that these guys feel just as good as the Ernie Balls. They do last longer. They feel better to play even when they're old. So these are at least a month old now, and they still feel good to play. And that's on a Telecaster, which mine's got a wider neck than my Strat. The specs say that the neck is the same, but if you actually play it, you pick it up and play it, you feel it. Like this Telecaster, it's got a baseball bat for a neck, and this Strat has a broomstick for a neck. In any case, yeah, the tuning stability. Okay, so last time I went ahead, again, I have locking tuners on this guy too. I locked the tuners, I locked the strings in place, tuned them up to pitch, and from that day forward, as soon as I got them in tune, they barely moved as far as pitch is concerned. Like they didn't go out of tune. Everything was just dandy with them. So I have to say, the NYXLs are, I think personally that the NYXLs last longer. Yeah, they last longer. They feel better for longer. They feel newer longer. They sound good longer. And what else? Oh yeah, and the tuning stability is just superb on these guys. There was barely any stretch period going on. I tuned them up to pitch, strummed, retuned them up again, and then they just stayed in tune for this entire month. No problem at all. So, which set will I, continue to buy? Will I get Paradigms? Will I get NYXLs? Oh man, I'm an Ernie Ball fanboy, so this is really hard for me. But I have to admit, if I had to choose only one of the two for the rest of my life, I'd probably get the NYXLs. Even though my first set of NYXLs kind of corroded and got shitty on me really quickly, and then the dude said, oh yeah, we'll send you another one in the mail, and I sent him my address and he never sent it to me. Thanks a lot, D'darrio. What the hell? But whatever, I don't know. I don't care. I bought the strings, they're good. But again, what's my recommendation? If it's between Ernie Ball Paradigms and NYXLs from D'Darrio, I'd go with the NYXLs. Out of all strings out there, and my favorite is still going to be the Ernie Ball 9s. And that's my opinion. Enjoy yourself.